Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. All right, so we got the A&M baseball team rolling yesterday like that. They take care of Lamar. We have the A&M men's basketball team winning by 14 over Georgia, something that I believe if Sam checks the tape, you'll see that I told you that was going to happen yesterday, guys. I'm telling you, I felt good about that game. Yes, it's Georgia, but every once in a while I'm right about something. Quentin Jackson, fantastic once again for A&M. They hit 8 3-pointers as a team, 35%, 75% of their free throws. They were hitting their layups, 20 of 24 there. Good stuff there. And Quentin Jackson ties his career high there with 31. Buzz Williams said it was the play. It wasn't the plays that he drew up on defense or on offense. It was just the tenacity they played with. And a man that hit probably the roulette table with a lot of tenacity is Olin Buchanan as we start here the Go Hour with my buddy who's been in Las Vegas for the last few days. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It is the Go Hour, by the way. What's up, man?
I did not go the roulette table.
What'd you do?
I played some slots.
Okay.
I played blackjack a lot. I played some 3-card poker, and my luck was kind of like the A&M basketball season. Start fast, looking good, thinking it's going to be, a big year, a big night, a big trip. And then I went through a period where I went on a crippling losing streak.
And
then tried to fight back. But fortunately, Mrs. Buchanan was there. And, she's a lot luckier than me, which is apparent because, she married me. And she did quite well. So I reminded her that what she wins, half comes to me. I did not win that argument, but it did soften the blow.
Well, I gave you a little bit of prompts, or I think you're crazy, one of the two.
Which is?
You're on vacation, and it's midnight. I don't know what time it is, and you're on freaking Zoom calls with coaches. You're writing columns. You're doing you make it harder for us to take time off because you're so good at your job, Olin.
Well, normally I would never take time off definitely during football season and not basketball season. But my niece was playing the national tournament, and we want, we support our family. So it's important for us to go. And I thought, well, I can still, because of Zoom technology, I could still do my job, or at least most of it. So, I thought it was the right thing to do. I hate, especially with baseball season starting, so many people here had other things to do, and I hate for somebody to have to do the job that I'm paid to do.
Right. Well, I thought it was awesome. And
thank you.
When I go on, I'm taking a family cruise this summer. I'm not going to be hopping on Zooms, but that's in July. So
absolutely.
But yes,
where are you going?
I don't even know yet. My mom randomly booked it.
Okay.
I think it's
those are great family trips.
Oh,
I've
fantastic.
done that before, and you're there all together and all day.
We've done it. This will be our third family cruise here in the last 5 years. It's something that, as my parents have gotten older, I think it's a great thing for them because they don't have to be as mobile.
Right.
And if you want to be mobile, you can get off the ship and do whatever you want. So we're looking forward to that. But I thought it was great that you did that. So I know you were at basketball last night, right?
Yes, I was.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what you saw yesterday, because one of the things that I was really impressed by was the fact that, I know it's Georgia, so I say this like, it's Georgia. It doesn't matter.
Hey, Georgia beat Alabama.
There you go.
And almost beat Auburn.
The few times that Georgia would make some kind of run, A&M always had a counter. And that's what we saw early, and we saw that in the second half, and A&M was just able to step on their throats.
They did. Early, there was one juncture where Auburn, I thought they hit 4 threes in a row, but one was a long two. So they had hit a 2 and then 3 consecutive threes and got up 21-14. A&M came back from that strong and had the lead at halftime. And then
a 14-0 run, right?
And 17-3 overall. Mm-hmm. And then in the second half, with 10 minutes to go, Georgia hits a couple threes and gets within 7. Now, remember, in Athens, A&M was up 17
right,
and fell behind and had to win it on a last-second three-pointer.
A guy who didn't play this
right,
past
Marcus
game.
Williams.
Yeah.
So here they are. They had a lead, and it's cut to 7, and you're thinking, oh, is this going to happen again? No. Hassan Diarra goes down there, hits a 3. Quentin Jackson, who was absolutely marvelous, comes out and gets a layup, and A&M outscores them 13-4 over the next 2 minutes. And A&M never had the extended scoring drought. Obviously, they scored 91 points. They answered Georgia's rallies. They limited offensive rebounds, 2 offensive rebounds for Georgia. No second chance points. That's huge. They shot well from the 3-point line. They shot well at the free throw line. They shot well from the field. They only had 9 turnovers. I thought, and I kind of wrote this, but I thought we got a glimpse of what A&M could be. Now, I understand it, like you said, it's against Georgia, but it's not like, and Georgia's not very good, but Georgia can be dangerous, as Alabama knows, as Memphis knows, as Auburn found out.
And A&M can be dangerous. Unfortunately for them, their half-court offense has really hit them hard at times. But
did you see what they were doing in the half court last night?
Well, they drove to the rim a lot more.
But when they got to the half court, not all the time, but very often, they just gave the ball to Quentin Jackson at the top of the circle. And Quentin, everything was going through Quentin. And he started, he's so quick, he's driving and getting layups, which is one of the reasons they only missed 4 layups, because he was spectacular. And then Georgia had to collapse on him, and he's kicking it out. Quentin Jackson, he was just such a catalyst last night in so many ways.
Let's look at those numbers right there. Quentin Jackson, 31 points, 4 of 6, 6 steals, 11 of 11, and his threes were 3.
He missed 1 free throw. He was like 5 of 6 or 7 of 8, something like that. So he missed 1 shot all night. It was a free throw.
And he has been in a pretty nice hot streak. He's been the leading scorer for most of this year, but over the last couple of weeks, he has really been leading the charge.
Yeah. Back-to-back games over 20 points.
Here you go. His last 3 games, 23 points a game, 2.6 rebounds, 62% from the field, free throw percentage 92.6. He has scored double digits in 10 consecutive games.
Yeah. I remember he had that game, what was it, Missouri, where he missed the front end of a 1-and-1 when they had a chance to tie.
Yeah.
And I remember Buzz Williams saying, look, if we're having a contest of free throws, he's the first guy picked. So, he's the guy you'd want up there. And so it's just a bad luck. But that kind of proves 92.6% at the foul line through 3 games.
For a team that had games shooting less than 50%, for a team that has been that bad from the free throw line for an early stretch. And look, they have a lot of other issues too. But that, hitting 92% of your free throws in this last little, was it a 10-game stretch? For a guy who gets to the rim and gets fouled, that's how you're going to get your buckets.
Did you see his assist to Henry Coleman just before the half?
Yes.
That was ESPN top 10 material, I thought.
Well, and Henry Coleman bouncing back too. Another name that look, I'm not reading way too much into this game, but it's nice to know that that style still causes fits for teams, and they did it to Florida. And Florida, you saw what they did a couple days ago. Mm-hmm. And now Georgia, the lowest end of the SEC. But it doesn't matter. Get some victories. Feel good to going into the offseason.
I think Buzz has done some things with his lineup, and he's it's difficult to do, but sometimes you're going to bench guys that are being unproductive and play guys that are being more productive. They started Manny Obaseki.
Yep.
And he's inconsistent like a freshman can be, but he gives you a burst.
He does.
And then, again, just put the ball in Quentin's hand more. And I think, again, you don't want to overreact to a win over the worst team in the conference. But that was a glimpse of what A&M can be.
Yep. They just need to be a little bit more efficient offensively, and we saw that last night. Let's go around the room and say hello. Dalton Hughes, good morning to you, sir.
Oh, good morning. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Good to have you back, Olin.
It's good to be back.
You're a lot better to listen to in the morning than Zane and Broninger, I must say.
Well, thanks for setting the bar kind of low there, but appreciate it.
Were you listening to those guys?
No, I didn't. I have to admit, I usually wasn't awake. The 2-hour time difference. So by the time I would wake up, they would be off.
So how do you feel now? Like, what time do you feel like it is? Does it feel
No,
like?
I feel great.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll admit that we went into one of the cannabis stores because we were told, listen to this, we were told that you can buy something that helps you sleep. It's a gummy.
Yeah, that's the thing, Olin.
And it's legal. I mean, you can bring it into Texas, all this. But it just helps you sleep, and it did.
When you say helps you sleep, like you get to sleep faster, deeper sleep? What do you
I think
mean?
it's deeper sleep.
Huh.
And what's funny is
he doesn't know he was asleep.
Yeah, true.
So anyway, I walk in and I've got on an A&M sweatshirt. When we walked in, at first, I didn't know we were going to. It was kind of like spur of the moment. And a couple of people came over to me, older people, my age, and said, "Hey, gig 'em." I said, "Are you Aggies?" "Yeah, we're from Houston," and stuff like that.
Right.
So met some Aggies in the cannabis store.
We got another Vegas story that I want you to get into, some insight to Heisman conversations. But right now, let's go to the news and the social center. Anna Rosa Peterson, good morning to you.
Good morning. I'm just over here trying to keep up with this weather. Yesterday, it's super hot and humid, and now today it's supposed to rain and in the 30s. But
Texas.
I know, it's just Texas for you.
Texas and
So
winter.
last night, we were at soccer practice, like this is my life, in Houston, though. We had practice in Houston, and it was humid, and the coach was complaining about sweating a little bit. By the time we drove back to College Station, we're not talking like we're Woodlands area, Tomball, like not far. It was so cold last night. It went from humid to cold here, and the wind that, I know they were talking about it at Olson last night, but the weather is just so bipolar.
Yeah, so consider this your daily weather report, but I'm tired of it. I wish I lived in California, minus the every other aspect of California besides the weather, but...
You mean California that's always 50 or 60 degrees?
Well, I like the 70s. When it's in the 70s, that's where I'm thriving, I would say.
Okay, like Texas half the time.
Yeah, okay.
No,
well,
just
I guess
kidding.
I'll stay put then.
It is winter.
Yeah, it is
That's
winter.
That's true. Well, Brent says that wasn't your luck, OB. That's just Vegas. So feel good about that.
Yeah, there were some guys at the tables that were having a lot harder time than I was. I felt bad for them. And there were some people that did quite well. There's this one side bet you can make, and it's something with a blackjack. And if you get a blackjack and your dealer gets a blackjack, if you do that side bet, you win $1,000 or 1,000 to 1. So I guess if you have a $5 bet, So I got a blackjack and the dealer got a blackjack.
Right.
But I didn't make that side bet. And the dealer ragged on me the next, the rest of the 2 hours I was there. Every time she had the opportunity to say something.
Did you at least take your money, or did you let it play out?
I didn't get anything.
That's what I'm saying. You have the option to take even money, though. Right?
Oh, no, not at that table.
Oh.
Did not, because I asked.
I was going to say.
But had I played so then when I would play it,
you never get it.
The dealer, as soon as I would just rag on me. Oh,
you're going to do it. I had a good experience with that when I was in Vegas before the pandemic broke out, as I was on a plane when Rudy Gobert and all that happened in 2020.
Yeah,
Fun
I was
times.
in Nashville.
Good times.
You were in Nashville, Olin. I have photographic evidence that you were in Nashville.
Anna Rosa, what else you got for us?
I have some notes. Women's basketball prepares to face number 1 South Carolina tomorrow night at Reed Arena at 7:30. It won't just be Blair's final home game as head coach, but the Aggies will unveil the court at Reed Arena as Gary Blair Court, which will feature his signature and name on the hardwood. And I believe we'll have Blair on the show later today to talk about that. And then in women's golf, the number 16 Texas A&M team was led by Jenny Park, who tied for 6th at the Icon Invitational, went 7 under 209 this week at the par 72, 6,392-yard golf club of Houston.
Anna Rosa, I noticed that you skipped a text message.
Yes, I'll get to that. Don't worry.
I think this is where we should go.
David from Temple says Nuño over Logan, Nuño over Billy.
Oh, yes.
14-8-18, but it's still double digits. Maybe Logan should come on and ask David for perceptions of the men's basketball team.
So I thought I said 14, but I must have said 18 yesterday. I told Logan on the show, and we joked that if my my prediction came true, that I was going to text them in the evening, and my prediction came true. I said on the air they were going to hit, I think I said they were going to hit 8 3-pointers. I might be wrong, but I think I said that. The tape will say, and they were going to win easily by double digits. I might have said 18, but 14 is pretty darn good too.
Yeah.
Look, this is the thing about predictions. I told this to Logan. We only talk about them when they're right. So I'm wrong a lot last night. I took a gamble, and I was right.
I like to talk about them when you're right and wrong.
Yeah.
Or I'm right and wrong, because I own it. Not that saying you won't, but if you make predictions, don't you just have to hold yourself accountable when you're wrong?
Sure. But I like to pat myself on the back when you beat the worst team in the SEC.
And I don't have to worry about holding myself accountable because there's guys like IDOC Mike and Chase and Sutton and all those guys that listen to us all the time that will remind Forrest and Wellican that will remind you when you're wrong.
You named all the guys that don't like me. Just kidding.
Yeah, everybody likes you, David.
Chase does.
Everybody likes you.
Yeah. Let's do this.
I don't think there's a person alive that IDOC Mike doesn't like.
No, he's one of the nicest humans I've ever met.
Yeah. And all the others too.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of IDOC Mike. Right now, the Association of Former Students, did you know they've been around for over 140 years? That's right. Your financial gifts have empowered them to be here, to be there, to be everywhere. They are in support of the Aggie Network. They love everything that Aggies do, and they've been helping out Aggies for such a long time. And I'm telling you, I can start reading the list, but when you think about how your dollars go to other places, we're talking about around the world, not just one spot. The study abroad scholarships, academic scholarships here on campus, Midnight Yell, support of the MSC, Fish Drill Team. None of that's possible without your help. And hopefully right now you're thinking about ways you can help, and it's real simple. A couple less lattes a month, folks, and you're a part of that Century Club. That's right, $9 a month, $100 a year. You get the plaque, the decal, the Texas Aggie magazine. Plus, you're continuing in the oldest, most inspiring tradition of Aggies helping other Aggies out there. To learn more about the impact of the association, make a gift, or get involved, visit aggienetwork.com/giving.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. Get pre-approved today with a 5-minute loan approval. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. The Arts Council of Brazos Valley is hosting Empty Bowls Jr. this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Allen Honda. This annual fundraiser is for arts programming for children and assisting local area in-school food pantries. The Cushing Memorial Library and Archives announces their new exhibition, Unexpected Treasures, on the Texas A&M campus. Selections from the Cushing Memorial Library and Archives collections. The exhibit will run through April 22nd. Registration is now open for the Bike MS Texas MS 150. The 2-day race starts April 30th and ends at Kyle Field. Register at bikemstexas150.org and use code Aggie25 for 25% off your registration fee. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Chili Fest 2022, presented by Miller Lite, is headed to Snook, Texas, April 1st and 2nd for 2 days of live music, including Saturday performances by Tanner Usray, Pecos and the Rooftops, Colby Cooper, Easton Corbin, and headliner Co Wetzel. With Joey Greer, Treaty Oak Revival, Cody West, Together but alone, Mike Ryan, this is a new song, Flatland Cavalry, I miss College Station, them boys are good to me, and headliner the Randy Rogers Band. Trying to buy myself a chance. Get tickets now at chilifest.org, plus camping, team information, and more. Chili Fest 2022, presented by Miller Lite. Miller Brewing Company. Great beer, great responsibility. 21 means 21.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
Would you like to win a pair of tickets to see Journey in concert? It's Rodeo Monday on the Louis Bellina Show, thanks to Catalina Hatters and Texas Rose Boutique. Every Monday, listen for me to play a Journey song. When you hear the music play, open arms, don't stop believing. When you hear Journey play on the Louis Bellina Show, be caller number 11, and you win a pair of tickets to see Journey at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. It's every Monday on the Louis Bellina Show, Rodeo Monday, thanks to Texas Rose Boutique and Catalina Hatters.
Olin, I don't know if you know it, but this is Dire Straits.
Yeah.
The Souls of Swing.
Sultans of Swing.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
From about 1978,
I think it was 78. Yeah,
circa 78.
Yeah. Dire Straits.
That's Mark Knopfler.
I think, and I might be wrong here, wasn't one of the first videos, not the first video, but one of the early videos on MTV when it first came out? I think Dire Straits was, I might be wrong there, but I think that sounds right.
Well, probably not in the first couple of years, but, like I think one of their more popular videos would have been Dire Straits, like Walk of Life, and they show all the NFL highlights.
Yeah.
And then Money for Nothing.
Money for Nothing was definitely a banger.
Yeah.
What was it, like 80?
Mid-80s. Yeah, sometime like that.
Yeah. And we're at TexAgs Radio. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And I feel like it's 97.9, the box in Houston. We have to give out shout-outs to everybody. But, Anna Rosa, we're going to go back to you because some people not happy with OB.
Yeah, we may have to give another shout-out round here coming up. Kalachi Matt says, wow, no shout-out from Olin. Guess it's time to come down with some goodies for the TexAgs.
Well, you can do that. But there you go. It's morning. I'm just trying to go off the top of my head. I could have said Derm Doc. I could have said
Derm Doc. Yeah, he was going to call the show yesterday. He didn't end up doing it.
I could have said Kalachi Matt should have. I'm so Panhandle Slim, for goodness sake. So the guy, I can't remember the guy's name up in Norman, Oklahoma. Gosh, see, what's it?
This is going well.
What's the guy's name in Denver? Spencer.
I saw him here,
and I guarantee you he's listening. Yeah, I did. So there's so many.
David Edmond,
Dave. That's so. Thank you all.
Jim and Temple.
We love you all.
I'm going down.
I'm sorry, I can't remember everybody.
Dell and Tabor. Here you go. Wink.
East of East Texas.
That's Ross.
Allen and CS.
There you go.
I'm just going to keep reading. 334. Sorry. Let's now do.
Sandy.
Oh, big fan of Sandy. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We'll keep Jason and Waco. I'll keep going. Philip Vargas. There you go. Kelly Adams. All right, let's go. I'm just randomly.
Love y'all.
Robert Nuño, listening, my dad. Hey, let's go
Your
to
brother.
Anna Rosa. My brother Alex probably not listening. Anna Rosa.
Yes.
Let's do this. It's so awkward. Let's do the word of the day.
I did that on purpose because, you make me feel awkward. I got to dish it out sometimes. All right, so word of the day. Visualize this. We're going to define fill in the blank, okay?
Oh, no. This is going wrong.
Has entered the chat. Does that make sense? So it's a blank.
Yeah.
Has entered the chat.
Olin has entered the chat.
Exactly. You can fill in that blank with whatever you want. So basically, when a topic is presented or being discussed and causes summoning of a person or people with relation to this said topic of curiosity or interest, it is frequently commented on videos or just anything online as a joke. And it's also parallel to the common phrase, has left the chat. You can use either one depending on what you're talking about.
So like if somebody spaces out, right? So like Olin, I'm telling him something, he's spacing out. I said, Olin has left the chat. Would that work?
You could, yeah, that would make sense. So basically the origin of it is it's a reference to the old chat rooms that you could use online.
Wait, those are old?
Well.
They don't do that anymore?
I mean, okay.
AOL chat?
I guess you could, like Facebook Messenger would make sense, but I'm just thinking like, at least for me, I had a Nintendo DS and we had like chat rooms.
Can you say that
This
again?
is my generation.
Can you say what you just said again?
Nintendo DS.
Nintendo?
Nintendo.
Okay, thank you. You dropped the N on it.
So anyways, that's what I'm referring to there. But so a couple examples that would make sense if I'm talking about superheroes, maybe Batman.
Oh,
David has entered the chat, right?
Yes, I'm in.
He's engaged. He wants to talk about it. For Jamie, she likes the Jonas Brothers. If we're talking about that, I'm sure y'all know. She's played a couple Jonas Brothers songs back then.
My friend's the Jonas Brothers. I'm big friends with them.
Exactly. Jamie has entered the chat. In reference to the weather, winter has entered the chat. That's kind of a dumb one.
I don't remember which one. And I've told Jamie this. She knows. There's one of the Jonas Brothers. I believe I've been to his apartment. I don't know if it's Joe or the other one.
Wow.
What's it called? Snake by the Ocean?
Joe, Nick.
The one from Cake by the Ocean.
Okay, that's Joe.
Joe.
Wow.
We had a shoot with, I think it was his apartment.
Very cool.
It was a shoot for ABC 13. They were performing 4th of July in Houston for the Freedom Over Texas concert, and we flew to New York to do an interview with them. They were the headline. And, yeah, we did it with all those. They were very cool guys, but I don't know the difference. I just know he was one of the Jonas Brothers.
My interaction with musical genius was I once went to the house, and you probably won't know who this is, of Aggie Myers of the Texas Tornadoes.
Texas Tornadoes, all right.
Yeah.
No, I just left the chat on that conversation.
Yeah, I did too. Olin, what would make you want to enter the chat?
Anything.
Anything?
I know.
You
Mick
can
Jagger.
bring up just about any conversation right now.
Sure.
Hey, we do need to get back to some sports, but I want to tell you this. I was listening to Joe Rogan last week, and I forget who he had on, one of the comedians he had on, and they spent maybe 35 minutes on Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
Talking about being the coolest man on the planet.
Is that right?
And talking about how even at this day, I think he said he's the same age as the president of the United States. He is still rocking out. He is still partying. He is still spectacular. And I thought of you, and I honestly am growing in my love for Mick because of our conversation, but really Joe Rogan co-signing your
Yeah, it's kind of like my wife then. When I say something, it's quickly dismissed. But if someone else says something,
then it's
it's gospel.
It is.
Yeah, I bet you there's a lot of guys that can relate to that. If I tell my wife, "Hey, you need to do this with your car," she'll go, "What do you know?"
Right.
But if someone else says, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that," probably happens to a lot of guys.
Nathan says listeners have left the chat. Jeez. You know what? I bet you're still listening, Nathan. Just telling you.
Everybody, Aggies love to just rag on people.
Yeah.
Including us, especially us.
Everybody rags on people. All right, when we come back here on the show, we do got to get it back to on the rundown. We got to go back to Quentin Jackson. Also, baseball. I don't think we've given enough love to baseball this hour. Some thoughts on that. I was trying to watch and listen to both at the same time. It was kind of difficult. We'll talk about that and just the way the start of the season has gone. So a lot more of that. But right now, I want to talk about the Aggie loan expert, Christine Engler. We love it. Aggies, of course, and she loves being in this area. Class of 1997. She's got a great team, and they put together so many different options for you out there. Her loan options offer down payments as low as 3%. Everything is underwritten in-house, and the Aggie loan expert can accept credit scores at or above 550. Her team can close an FHA loan in as little as 21 days. And here's the big thing. They offer competitive rates. Christine Engler, AggieLoanExpert.com. She's really doing wonderful work for this market, and right now is a great time. You know, like we're getting closer to spring. People are going to start putting their houses out there. You know, think about Christine and the Aggie Loan Expert when you get to that point, and she's somebody you can check out real quick. AggieLoanExpert.com. Terms and conditions apply. Christine Engler, the Aggie Loan Expert, NMLS number 1309378. Company NMLS number 1324641. Equal housing opportunity.
Who cares if he's wearing a medium and tight pants?
3, 2, 1, go.
It's TexAgs Radio with David Nuño on the Zone.
Our rural Texas values are under attack from liberals who want to take our freedoms, steal our elections, and open our borders. But lifetime rancher and Texan Kyle Cassell has never stopped fighting for our conservative values. In Austin, State Representative Kyle Cassell has sued the Biden administration to stop their unconstitutional federal vaccine mandate, passed legislation to increase penalties for fraudulent ballot harvesting and mail-in voting, and invested billions for a comprehensive border security solution, and will do whatever it takes to seal our southern border and stop the smuggling of immigrants and drugs into our Texas communities.
I'm Kyle Cassell, and as your state representative, I will stop Biden's unconstitutional mandates and defend the integrity of our elections, secure our power grid, and make sure we have good teachers making good pay for a job well done. I'm Kyle Cassell, and I'd be honored to have your vote for the Texas House.
Political advertising paid for by Kyle Cassell campaign and is responsible for the content of this advertising.
We're here with Jason Rollo of Rollo Insurance. Jason, when we say the difference is real, what does that mean?
Well, first of all, when we use the term real, we're speaking about being genuine. And I think that anyone who does something in a good way has to be genuine. But also when I think about the term real, I think about rates, education, assets, and life. Many people think that insurance is about rates. Although that's important, it's actually about education of what you're buying to protect your assets, and we want to do that for the life of the client.
For more information, go to RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs.
Howdy, this is Steve Bledsoe, fighting Texas Aggie class of '83, with some exciting news. Veribank is now open with our new full-service location on Highway 6 in College Station. With personal bankers, business bankers, Veribank has everything you need in one convenient location. Come see for yourself, where genuine banking is waiting for you. and you can bank on it.
Visit verabank.com today. That's VERA bank.com. Verabank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is ESPN Radio.
James Robinson, Jacksonville Jaguars. What's up, big game, James?
What's up?
Defensive player of the year again.
WTJ Watt. I appreciate you guys having me on here.
Shaquille Spikes, former All-Pro.
When they won the AFC Championship, I felt like I had been part of it.
San Francisco 49ers, Deebo Samuel.
Once the season started, I was in the best shape that I've ever been playing.
Rams Super Bowl winning head coach Dick Vermeil.
I said when he came out, he was the most accurate passer I've ever seen come out of college.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Isaac Bruce.
When you have a prolific season like Cooper Kupp, now without a doubt, offensive player of the year.
Ron Rivera, Washington Commanders head coach.
It took us a little bit to get used to the Washington football team, so now we're in the same situation again.
Michael Parsons joins us.
The lights shouldn't affect you. You affect the lights. The lights is going to follow you. So if you're ready for the moment, it's up to you to take advantage of it.
Listen in to ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio, 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Hey baby, ¿qué pasó? No que yo era un vato. Hey baby, ¿qué pasó? No me dejes de ser moto.
I like it.
Come on, baby.
I like it a lot, actually. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. OB, it's been fun to have so much action again here in this area. You know, we were so busy during football season. Basketball takes over, but now we've got basketball going on, track and field going on indoors. We've got, obviously, swimming and diving. We're going to talk to the women's coach here shortly. We've got baseball, obviously, starting, and it's been fun to see the team start. And, look, it's kind of like basketball when you beat a team like Georgia. You don't read too much into it, especially with as much film as we have on basketball. We know who they are pretty much. Baseball, we're going to be finding out who they are for the next 5-6 weeks.
Yeah, I used to always tell Gabe to pump the brakes. You know, Gabe is Mr. Sunshine, and he'll tell you that when it comes to baseball. And they would open the season by beating a team from the Northeast that hadn't been outside yet, and he would be sending them to Omaha. And I would say, look, they haven't beaten anybody. Yeah, if you're going to base your expectations on what it's like to play, who'd they just play? Not Lamar, but before that?
Fordham.
Fordham.
Yeah.
If you're going to base your expectations by playing a team of Fordham's caliber, great. But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to beat teams like Mississippi State and Ole Miss and Vanderbilt and Florida and so on and so forth, LSU, so Arkansas. And we've seen the previous coach who was fired win the four, the kind of games that A&M's won. So while I still have great optimism for Coach Schlossnagle and what's going to happen here, I have no reaction. I know nothing. I know about as much right now as I would if the football team beat Prairie View.
Sure, and I think that's fair. Some things we can look at, though, is that the early reports that we were getting about Trevor Warner for the start of the season seemed to be true. And we saw him in 3 areas this weekend excel. He could hit the ball. Obviously he drove in some runs. He can field there at third. He can run. So early reviews on particular players have been nice. Pitching has looked nice. Again, yes, I understand the caliber of opponent that they're playing doesn't tell you the entire story. But it's better than the alternative.
I'm not saying Trevor Warner's not going to be great. He probably is. But I can remember a guy that opened the season with 3 home runs against somebody like Bowling Green and barely showed up the rest of the season. So nothing that, in my mind, nothing that was seen yet matters.
Right.
And the reason how come I'm putting so much emphasis on that is because I said the same thing, and that was the position I always took with Rob Childress as coach. So wouldn't it be then inconsistent if I had a different standard for Coach Schlossnagle?
No, I'm not arguing that at all. I'm just saying what we've seen so far, I like. I like the style of baseball they're playing. Look, we'll find out. We will find out. Mississippi State lost a couple this weekend, but yet they took on a pretty good opponent, Long Beach State. But we're going to find out about them as the next month comes by. But they need these at-bats. They need these pitches. They need these game situations. And this past weekend, we saw different types of victories. We saw a blowout. We saw a tight game and a come from behind. And then yesterday, a game where they scored 5 runs in the first inning, set the tone early in that one, and just able to cruise after that.
Well, it's my understanding Fordham typically is pretty good in its –
yeah.
So maybe that tells you something. But I would say this. In most situations, I would be more concerned than optimist or than encouraged by winning a close game and a come-from-behind game against Fordham. Now, again, I'm not saying that Fordham may be excellent. So I'm just saying that I'm a team that wants to compete with the very best in the country. So starting with a 3-game sweep over Fordham doesn't mean anything to me. And then having to come from behind to win one of those games and being locked in a really close game makes me wonder what to expect. Now, look, I get it. It's the first game for everybody. So I always say, never even if they had lost, though, never even
read too much into it either.
Read into as the first month.
Yeah. What I'll say to that is I kind of look at this as the beginning of football season, spring ball. I'm looking at this as just I'm putting my eyes on these guys, getting to know them.
Right. As well you should. That's a great – I think that's an even better analogy is comparing it to spring ball.
Because we're watching them develop. I'm getting to see how they swing, how they run, how they feel. And for me, and really for a lot of this team, these are new players, a lot of new players. There are some existing players, obviously, some that didn't reach their potential last year, some that have shown what they can be. But it's just an opportunity. It's like watching them at practice. All right, I see what he did there. All right, well, let's see how he does against LSU, but I see what he did there. So there is that. But I might be a little sunshine here, too. I don't know if this team's going to go to the College World Series or host a regional. I just know that so far it's been fun to watch. And I more than anything, I like watching Schlossnagel's approach, how involved he is there in the dugout and how the CEO that he is, yes, but the hands-on version of it and how he's involved in every aspect of that team.
That right there, what you said, is the source of my optimism. Not anything that happened last week or last night, but it's Schlossnagel himself and the way he coaches is the source of my optimism. Now, I think that they're going to get better as the season goes along. And I've talked to Coach Schlossnagel about scheduling, and he likes to schedule more difficult opponents.
Yeah.
So I think he would tell you, just as you've been saying, I wouldn't read it too much into what's happened yet. But the way he coaches and the way he goes about his business is what still has me optimistic.
And there's something about game experience. I don't care who you're playing. Going through another opponent who is trying to strike you out, regardless of how good they are, there's something. And there's also something to be said about getting hot against inferior opponents. Did it work out for the men's basketball team? I don't know. They started off pretty well in SEC play because they played well, and then they ran into a buzzsaw. Lost a couple of games that they should have won. Then they started losing because they were losing. There's something to be said about playing good ball entering SEC play, regardless of who the opponent is. And you're going to take on some good teams before you get there.
I would be telling, my message, not that anybody cares, but my message, let's say they'd gone 2-1 or 1-2, my message would be, it doesn't really matter yet. I mean, I know you always want to win, but that doesn't mean that's who the team is going to be. And that's what I would say about, being 4-0 at this point.
In baseball, in Major League Baseball, I should say, people don't really look into your spring training standings, right? They don't really look into the wins. It's more about getting your pitcher's arms ready for the long haul of the season, getting your timing and your at-bat, and that's what this is right now, right?
Yeah,
they're absolutely doing that. And look, if you can win all of them, great, because if you can beef up your non-conference schedule when you get into SEC play, which has so many friggin' top 25 teams, I don't know what you need to do in SEC play to be a tournament team, but I think this is the look of a tournament team.
Well, this is what I'm going to get. I always get myself in trouble with Aggies. They get mad at me at this. Aggie baseball fanatics get really mad at me when I say this. But the Aggies, I heard the whole Olsen Magic thing when they won the. Do you really need Magic to beat Fordham?
I don't think you do,
or you shouldn't. So,
but it's still Magic in the bottom of the ninth inning, like to have, what was it, 3 straight foul balls on 3 and 2. I mean, that's the Magic part of it. Like, dude, I can be playing flag football or a video game, and it feels like a magical, like event to come back and win. Like, it doesn't matter. Any kind of competition, when you come back, thumb wrestling, it still feels great. It is magical, and especially having your crowd out there and it being Schlossnagel's first weekend as the skipper of real games, I should say. But we'll have to continue that here later on the show. Thank you, Obi.
You bet.
When we come back here on the program, Steve Boltman's going to be here, the women's swimming and diving coach. Look back at the SECs from this past weekend. Right now, let's talk Heritage Films. Chance McClain, yourheritagefilm.com. They make documentary films about your parents, your family, and maybe even of Olin's adventures there in Las Vegas. They'll follow you through the entire process. They're going to tell your story, everything, right, from beginning to end. They'll ask you questions you didn't even think about. They'll get pictures of your youth. They'll get videos from your youth. Everything that you have, maybe you don't have that much. Your words, you have those words. They put it together into an awesome film. Chance does the interview. He lights it. He edits it. It takes him about 2 months to get it all done. And then you're going to get this documentary, Netflix-style film that you can share with your entire family. It's first-class stuff, guys. You're going to jump all over it when you see it. You're going to love what Chance does. He's the most creative guy I know out there. And he's only advertising with us and the Michael Berry Show because he thinks that our audience cares about their history more than other places, guys. That's why Aggies seem to call him all the time. 713-893-8341. 713-893-8341. yourheritagefilm.com. That's yourheritagefilm.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. There's never been a better time for a cash-out refinance. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. The Salvation Army in Bryan College Station has received a generous donation to set up an educational scholarship. Find out more about the Bauer Family Estate Scholarship and apply online at SalvationArmyBCS.com. Grief Share, a special help seminar and support group for people experiencing grief and loss, is held on Sundays at Peace Lutheran Church at 4 o'clock. Call the church for more information. Relay for Life of Brazos County is Saturday, May 7th. Join a team, make a donation, or become a sponsor. Find more information and a link to register at WTAW.com. Every Thursday morning from 8 to 10, all veterans and family members of veterans are welcome for coffee and donuts at American Legion Post 159 on Highway 21. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
The association, because they support so many different things and they are involved, as a student, you feel like you have somebody in your corner.
We know that Alfredo's family has never seen him march live at Kyle Field. With the help of the Association of Former Students, we're going to end that today. Alfredo's family is here with us.
To the Association of Former Students, I don't know how much I can thank you enough for giving me hope that for anything that goes wrong, something good is going to happen out of it. Whatever they do for the school, it's always going to come out with a smile on someone else's face.
To learn more about the association's impact or to make a gift, visit tx.ag/giving.
Reading is fundamental. The nation's largest children's literacy organization invites you to rally our children to read. Visit rallytoread.org and help your child pledge to read 100 books by Read Across America Day in March 2022. Also, watch well-known authors read their favorite books. Find activities to keep young readers motivated, and teachers can enter the Rally to Read sweepstakes for a chance to win 100 books for their own school, subject to rules. Inspire your child to read. Visit rallytoread.org today.
On Sports Talk, Chip visits with Kirk Bowles about the CFP's decision to stay with 4 teams.
Yes, there are going to be a couple of more SEC teams, but there are also going to be a couple of teams from all the other power conferences, won't there?
Well, I think there are. I think you're right there, but I think they're thinking, well, we may see 5 or 6 SEC teams, and maybe Pac-12 gets 2, or the Big Ten gets 2 or 3, but we can't fight them if they're getting 5 or 6 or 7.
Sports Talk, weekdays at 4 on The Zone.
And we're back, TexAgs Radio. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in. If you want to text in the show, you can do that on the A&B text line, 979-693-1150. A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. The website is anb.com. You can also call us on the BCSI hotline, 979-693-1150. We turn our attention now to the A&M women's swimming and diving team coming off the SEC championships. Yesterday we spoke to the men. Today we talked to Steve Boltman, the head coach over there. How are you, sir?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. Get you a little closer to the mic,
right.
sir. So let's talk about Chloe. She had a great weekend. Talk about what she was able to do, and not only one of the top freestylers in the country, but the way she continues to excel.
Yeah, she had a heck of a meet, not totally rested because we figured she was already qualified for NCAAs, but she certainly solidified that, breaking the school record in the 200 free and, making a new best time in her 100 free as well. So, and did very well on a number of our relays.
And she, 2 top 8 events and also made it to the NCAAs last year. So continuing on that.
Yes.
And let's talk a little bit about the relays. You get some automatic qualifiers, is that correct?
We had two relays make A cuts and 2 relays make B cuts. We feel like we have 4 individuals going to NCAAs as of right now, and 4 of our 5 relays would go. We have a last chance meet this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And this is the last weekend that you can qualify for NCAA. So we'll have hopefully maybe pick up another couple of girls that can make the meet. But it's pretty fast this year with NCAA allowing another year for people to come back. It's quick.
Yeah,
so.
let's talk about that, because the experience then kind of changes things. Like you're now having people who have done it for such a long time, and they're getting better with time as well.
Usually they do, yeah, and so that's made it faster, absolutely, for sure.
I'm going to throw you out a couple names: Bobby Kennett, Jordan Buechler, is that right?
Buechler,
sorry, and Katie Owens and Chloe, obviously 3, 14, 24 in the 400. Talk about that group.
Oh, that was good. Sprinting is very important in, swimming and track and all, and so for them to step up and do that was really good. And going into finals, I knew we had a chance to make that A cut and just kind of planted that seed, both in the 400 medley relay, which was the day before, which they hit the A cut right on the dot, the 100th. And then that 400 free, just reminded them, hey, we can get this done. And they stepped up and did it and was good.
Help us I know you mentioned the last chance meet, but help us understand the way you pick the events and who's going to go. Is it just based on this is your last opportunity?
Right. And it's, obviously they swim their better events and where we need them as a team. But then it's basically picked by the best times in the country. And they'll usually with the women, they'll take the top 37, 39 swimmers that will make it in individual events like that. So it's quick.
Is there somebody this season that has turned it on that have just watched from the beginning to now, like, wow, you've really grown in this short amount of time?
I would say probably the most remarkable. I mean, we've had, you name Bobby Kennett, and she's improved a lot. She's picked up her training and practice, and usually when that happens, the fast times are going to come. But Jordan Bushler, you certainly wouldn't script it. She got COVID the second week of school. She got mono about a month later. She had COVID again in January. And thankfully, early January, we took her to meet, and she went all lifetime best times and was on a couple of our relays. And just, you scratch your head and you go, I certainly wouldn't design a training program like this but it shows if you want it, if you have that mentality that I don't care that I've been sick 3 times, I'm getting up and racing, That's so important.
How did COVID, because every coach has had their own kind of way to maneuver through it, how has it affected you this year?
As far as the number of positive cases, more so this year than last year, which is kind of shocking. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, we had a bunch early September, but we have had a few since then, but just, maybe 2 positives and 1 or 2 contact trace. And it hasn't, I think the new variant isn't quite as bad as what the first one was, because it really knocked, I think that one got your lungs a little bit more, the first one. Second one, it was more kind of a sinus issue. Neither one of them are good, obviously, but this one, the second one, didn't seem to be as bad. So having some of them out for a while, the second one didn't seem, because last year when people got that first one, they were out for a week or 2, and then it took them a while to recover even after that.
Well, Steve, we appreciate you. Best of luck for the last chance to meet. Hopefully we get a bunch more qualified there.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. All right, when we come back here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Kendall Rogers, talk a little Aggie baseball with him here. We also have Coach Gary Blair coming up very, very soon on the program. Chris Landry stops by at 9:20, so it's going to be a loaded 9 o'clock hour. And then 10 o'clock, Bronny in studio, Recruiting Country, presented by Caprock Health System. So we'll keep it all rolling here on TexAgs Radio on a Wednesday.
Howdy, this is Steve Bledsoe, fighting Texas Aggie class of '83, with some exciting news. Verabank is now open with our new full-service location on Highway 6 in College Station. With personal bankers, business bankers, Verabank has everything you need in one convenient location. Come see for yourself, where genuine banking is waiting for you, and you can bank on it.
Visit verabank.com today. That's VERA bank.com. Verabank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Suck it up.
It's not a big deal.
Snap out.
Just get over it.
We've all heard it. But if you're experiencing extreme stress, it's not just in your head. It can affect your entire body, because toxic stress can hurt us physically without us even knowing it. If you've lost a job, worry about your next meal, or have trouble making it through the day, if you're feeling the effects of stress, we can help. Text STRESS to 211-211 to find a solution.
You love beer, steak, Aggie football, and your community. Hang out with Louis Bellina, weekdays 11 to 2 on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. This is KZNE, College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. Bryan ISD school board members decide to spend some of their federal pandemic grant money on bonuses next year for returning and new employees. Board President Mark McCall talked about doing more for first-year teachers.
If a teacher needs assistance moving, or we've all heard employees that have gone out and co-signed apartments for new teachers that have just graduated.
Returning BISD employees will get 2% in September, and new BISD teachers will get $1,000 in September. Other new BISD employees will not get a September bonus, but all BISD employees will get 1% in December and next May. This is in addition to any raises that might be given. The Chancellor of the Texas A&M System responds to a resolution adopted by the flagship campus's Faculty Senate Executive Committee regarding tenure and teaching critical race theory.
John Sharp issued a prepared statement that says, in part, the system looks forward to sitting down with state leaders at the appropriate time to discuss how they can continue to lead the nation in recruiting and retaining the brightest minds for teaching and research critical to the future prosperity of Texas. A resolution from A&M's Faculty Senate Executive Committee at A&M states recent rhetoric of state officials opposed to tenure and teaching about issues of race is damaging the reputation and future of public higher education in Texas. Bill Oliver, 1620 94.5 WTAW.
2 weeks ago, College Station police received a report of a burglary of an office at an apartment complex. The victim traced 2 stolen iPads to a home in College Station. While no one answered the door at the time, officers recognized a photo of the occupant from an arrest last month and surveillance video from the office burglary. That led to this week's arrest of 20-year-old James Calverance Johnson for the burglary and misdemeanor possession of marijuana. He's jailed in lieu of bonds totaling $22,000. For more news, go to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
If you have considered replacing the windows in your brick veneer home, you may have been told that it would be necessary to either remove the brick or tear up the inside of your window box. You need to know that Intercon replaces windows and brick every day, and we don't tear up anything except the window which is being removed. By installing windows every day, Intercon personnel have worked out methods which result in the replacement windows being at least as neat and effectively installed as your windows were when they were new. This means that Intercon can furnish and install replacement windows which exceed today's tighter standards for efficiency. They look and perform just as well as the best windows in brand new homes. Call Intercon or visit our showroom and we will furnish you customer references for homes you can look at and homeowners you probably know who can tell you that Intercon can solve your window problems without wrecking your home or your budget, just as we did theirs. Intercon will furnish a free quote and we won't pressure you to buy.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Texas A&M men's basketball got back up on the winning track last night, thwarting Georgia 91-77 at Reed. Quentin Jackson was dynamic from the floor, knocking down all 11 field goal attempts and finishing with 31 points. Jackson after the victory.
I think everybody was locked in on our assignments, and I think we put more of an emphasis on what we needed to do, like during the game, like the players. They say the best teams are coached by the players, and I think every player knew their assignment, and we kind of helped each other out tonight.
With the win, Q and the guys improved to a 17-11 overall and 6-9 in SEC play. Out on the diamond, the Aggie baseball team outslugged Lamar 9-3 at Bluebell Park. DH Austin Bose led the way at the plate, going 3 for 5 with 2 runs scored and an RBI.
Just seeing it well. Saw some good pitches that I was ready to hit. Pitching was good. They came, they threw strikes, and saw the ball well tonight and just put a good swing on it, and good things happen.
Brett Minich and Ryan Targach each added 2 ribbies for the Ags to improve to 4-0 on the year. And number 16, women's golf is finished in 5th place at the Icon Invitational in Humble. The Maroon and White were led individually by Jenny Park, who tied for 6th at 7 under. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Listening to The Zone on your smart speaker is easy. If Louie can do it, anyone can do it. 2 simple steps, and you can hear Chip Howard Sports Talk, TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, or Aggie football, basketball, or baseball on your smart speaker. Step 1, and one time only needed, say Enable Zone 1150 skill. Then anytime you want to hear your favorite host or teams, all you have to do is say, play Zone 1150. Make sure to set it up and say, Enable Zone 1150 skill. And then listen in anytime just by saying, play Zone 1150.
We are TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. working on getting Kendall Rogers here on the program to talk some Aggie baseball. Looking forward to chatting about the early start. And, yeah, you can look at who they've played and consider that. But you can also consider this. They are just playing good ball to start the year, right? At the end of the day, that's what we're talking about. They're at-bats, they're pitching, just watching the little things. So we'll see if we get Kendall Rogers here on the program. And Chris Landry should be joining us as well in the next segment. We'll talk to Chris about the Combine coming up, talk to him about some NFL questions out there. And really, I wanted to get into with him DeMarvin Leal, a name that we have seen ranked very high and a name that we have seen kind of drop a little bit to the second round, and just where scouts' heads are when it comes to DeMarvin and how important it is going to be how he does there in Indianapolis next week. All right, if you want to be a part of the show, you can certainly do that. 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150 is the BCSI hotline, or you can text us on the A&B text line, 979-693-1150. I will ask you guys this. When you look at the start of A&M baseball, are you cautiously optimistic? Are you not reading into how they've done, because of the opponents? Or are you saying it doesn't matter who they're playing good ball, and you win the games in front of you? When we watch football, sure, they'll a team that has an easy non-conference, you don't read too much into it, just like you saw with the A&M men's basketball team. But all that being said, you start seeing little things that develop, little trends that develop. And in basketball, how the three-point shot was falling down, but the half-court offense was struggling early on. And beyond that, what you see, with football, we didn't really get a great sample because it went from week one against Kent State, moving the ball in a couple of early season turnovers and whatnot that weren't all Haynes King's fault, but to the second drive and Haynes going down, and now you're like, what's up with this team? And then the third game, and you're like, okay, against New Mexico, what do we really know? And it wasn't until midway through the Arkansas game, or the fourth quarter of the Arkansas game, where you started A&M really showing who they could be. And even at that point, you saw the next week against Mississippi State. So I say all that early reports of a team in this non-conference doesn't tell you too much, but you can look into the way players are hitting the ball, the way they're running the bases, the way the team is run, and to me, that's where I get the most excited. That's where I see things and really get pumped about what this team could be. And we'll have to see how things play out. But yesterday's game, I was very impressed with, just in the way they handled their business early on. You score 5 runs on anybody to open up a game, you should feel good. It allows your pitcher to kind of settle down and all right, just got to throw some strikes and get through this. And that's exactly what we saw yesterday. 5 early runs, and then Austin Boast looking great. And they need Austin Boast to look great there, without a doubt. He had that RBI double to open up the game. And it's just, if he's clicking and Trevor Warner's clicking, and you get pretty good pitching the way I think you're going to get from your starters, there's still some questions about the pen. But all that leads to what could be an exciting year. And the cool part for me in this position was that I got to balance my time yesterday between the baseball team and the basketball team, and seeing what Q was able to do yesterday and how the basketball team was able to respond. To me, that was, look, I don't read too much into any opponents, right? You can talk about the Georgia game, you can talk about the Lamar game, but I do read into how teams play. And what I saw yesterday was a team that was still very hungry, a team that played tenacious defense, and a team that had figured out a way to kind of change things up for them to work. Now, we didn't see Marcus Williams, and I think we're going to see Marcus Williams this season and obviously next season. But that was a little different, right? He's not out there doing his thing, and they're allowing Q to be the facilitator and attack the rim and get the ball at the top of the three. And they were able to allow young players that had taken a back seat for a couple of weeks kind of get back into some interesting roles. Manny Obaseki and Hassan Diarra, to name a few. putting them back in some roles. We've seen some, changing up of lineups and rotations to see how things could go in the right direction. And we saw that yesterday with the team. As for Marcus Williams, he is, I think, a key to next season. I really do. I really think he is a key. There'll be growth by Wade Taylor. There's going to be growth by Manny. There's going to be growth by Hassan. Those guys, and Henry Coleman too. I'm naming a bunch of players. But for this team to reach the kind of potential postseason run that we want to see next season, Marcus Williams is going to have to be a big part of that. He's going to have to be the point guard that they thought that they got. And right now, I think he's a little in his head. And a good offseason could go a long way into fixing that. As for, this season, he's going to get back out there. I don't know if it was a matchup thing. I don't know if it's just trying to get him out of his head. I don't know what Buzz's decision there was other than a coach's decision. But he is a guy that could really change things for Texas A&M. And, with Alabama still yet to go. And these are some look, you got to win a couple more games. You have to win a couple more games to get into any kind of NIT conversation. So does that mean you win 2 and win 1 in the postseason in the SEC tournament and you get 3 more wins? Is that what it's going to take to be kind of back in that conversation? Potentially. You beat Alabama, though. I think you're feeling much better about your chances there. But there's still a lot to do. And by the way, one of the things that I loved about yesterday's performance, I don't know if love's the right way to phrase it, but Georgia hit a bunch of three-pointers. They hit 13 threes, yet A&M still won by 14. They hit a bunch of threes. And that just shows you how good that defense was, how efficient they were at getting to the rim, how efficient they were not turning the ball over. Look at what Georgia did yesterday. 20 turnovers. A&M had 9. The rebounds, Georgia had a couple more rebounds, but they didn't have any second chance points in that game. All those things led to an A&M victory, and it was good. It was good to see that, and we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. But the storm that they were in, that lasted way too long, and I don't know if they're completely out of that storm because you are who you are. You look at your record overall, and that's who you are. But they haven't given up, and I've said this many times on this show that, of course, you don't give up. You just keep going. You keep going to the end of the game. But that team yesterday looked like a team that they knew that they could win that game. They know that they can finish this season stronger than they've shown. And they know that they're a better team that they've shown through that out of their last 11 games. They know that. They know that they're a better team than that. And for those of you who don't believe it because of the losing streak, just know that, 5 games came down to a couple possessions in that losing streak? 5? They didn't make the key play. And a lot of times that is youth. A lot of that is inexperience. And that's why next season at this time, they will absolutely be a better team for it. They will 100% be a better team for it. I believe, I do believe that they'll finish a little bit stronger than we. They're certainly better than they were during the losing streak. But they're gonna still get a game or 2 more that you're gonna be like, all right, we'll go into the offseason feeling pretty good about this team. We feel pretty good about it, and they're gonna have to do it. So it was a good Tuesday night to have both of those things going on at the same time, and the week doesn't end either because women's basketball on Thursday at Reed Arena, where they're going to give Coach Blair, they're going to show they've obviously told them they're going to name it the Gary Blair Court, but we're going to have it unveiled there on Thursday, and Gary's going to be here in studio in about 17 minutes. We'll get to talk to him about that. But let's do this. Let's hit a break here, and let's talk to Chris Landry of LandryFootball.com when we come back and get Landry's thoughts on all things happening with A&M football, the future and the now with the NFL Combine coming up, but also get into some NFL topics. And if you got any questions for Chris, you can certainly text us on the A&B text line, 979-693-1150. Right now, though, let's talk a little Milliken Reserve. Milliken Reserve is a farm-to-table community in College Station. They've got homes. They got trails. They got farms, they got wide open spaces, and they are a community that you need to experiment with and go check out, guys. When I say that, you don't have to just go move there tomorrow, but just go drive by. You're going to be blown away how beautiful a community it is. Yes, you can buy a home there and love that, but you can also just hang out and enjoy nature there. I mean, that's what they do. They've got a healthy community. They've got wildlife. They've got it all out there. They've got trails. They got 30 miles of trails. They got the homes. They got the 2,600 acres of open space. And when you go visit there, you're going to find natural settings for people to connect for now and for later. Hiking, biking, canoeing, kayaking, equestrian trails, evening yoga, summer camps, music festivals, farmer market tours. There's just such a special, special community that you're going to love when you go check it out. All you have to do to kind of learn more about it is obviously drive down Wellburn. You'll see it coming from Kyle Field. It'll be on your left-hand side. Just go down for about 10, 15 minutes. You'll run into it. Or you can visit the website and learn more about it. MillikenReserve.com is the website. MillikenReserve.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. Get pre-approved today with a 5-minute loan approval. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. The Arts Council of Brazos Valley is hosting Empty Bowls Jr. this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Allen Honda. This annual fundraiser is for arts programming for children and assisting local area in-school food pantries. The Cushing Memorial Library and Archives announces their new exhibition, Unexpected Treasures, on the Texas A&M campus. Selections from the Cushing Memorial Library and Archives collections. The exhibit will run through April 22nd. Registration is now open for the Bike MS Texas MS 150. The 2-day race starts April 30th and ends at Kyle Field. Register at bikemstexas150.org and use code Aggie25 for 25% off your registration fee. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
If you own construction equipment and need replacement rubber tracks, now's the time to get $200 off your next set of rubber tracks at WPI. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings, and depth to teeth, buckets, and blades is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan. Hurry in. $200 off rubber tracks in soon. Highway 21 East at Marino Road, or click WPI.com.
Question: would you pick a chain barbecue place over a hometown joint? Do you root for East Coast universities instead of the local team? Nah, then why choose a big Wall Street bank? A&B started in 1892. 5 generations later, we're still owned and operated by the same Texas family. We support this community. We value your privacy. We make quick decisions, and we hate red tape. We answer to you, not Wall Street. Bank with A&B. Family owned, Texas proud. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You can unlock more cash than you realize from your home's equity with a cash-out refinance today. In the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. And with Rocket Mortgage, you can unlock thousands in less than 3 weeks. But you've got to act right now before rates go up. So when you're looking to unlock the cash in your home, Rocket can. Call 833-8-ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com. Get started.
Rates current as of 12/12/21. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal Housing Lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures and cost information.
Would you like to win a pair of tickets to see Journey in concert? It's Rodeo Monday on the Louis Bellina Show, thanks to Catalina Hatters and Texas Rose Boutique. Every Monday, listen for me to play a Journey song. When you hear the music play, open arms, don't stop believing. When you hear Journey play on the Louis Bellina Show, be caller number 11, and you win a pair of tickets to see Journey at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. It's every Monday on the Louis Bellina Show, Rodeo Monday, thanks to Texas Rose Boutique and Catalina Hatters.
Come on, man. And with the local DBC news, Ellen Cool J with a triumphant comeback. But tonight, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm rocking my pants, putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon.
We are TexAgs Radio. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in and being a part of the conversation. We got some text messages to get to on the A&B text line. I'll get Anna Rosa to read some of those here in a moment. But if you want to be a part of that conversation, 979-693-1150 is the is the A&B text line and the BCSI hotline. All guests and callers join us on that BCSI hotline. So call us up, 979-693-1150. We'll get Chris Landry here on the show momentarily, and we're going to talk all things NFL, the NFL Combine coming up, if we get them. Because, I mean, today's the kind of show that people forgot that we're doing a show. But that's all right, though. All good here on on the show. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Kendall Rogers just got back to me saying he can do the show a little bit later today. We'll see if we can make that work. I can't respond to him as we speak right now, but we'll get to it. With that, let's go to the AMB text line with Anna Rosa Peterson there at the News and the Social Center.
Yeah, we kind of have texts from all over covering a bunch of different sports, but I'll get into football really quick. Brent, class of 04, says any way the draft goes, Marv will either be drafted correctly in the top 15 or he'll be the biggest D-line steal and end up getting his money anyway.
Yeah, look, we all have seen him play. He's an Aggie, so there's obviously the love for him, but we've seen his play. We've seen the kind of level he's played at and what he does for the other players on the defensive line. I do believe when it's all said and done, this is a first-round pick and a no-brainer. And if he's not in, as the text talked about, alluded to, in the top 15, I'd be, then there's something wrong with the way teams are evaluating him, because there are a couple things you can do when evaluating a player, and that's why I wanted to ask Chris Landry this. One is how he does these measurables that people talk about, and I think Marv is going to do fantastic when it comes to the measurables. That's for me, that is going to happen. He's going to be fantastic. So there's the measurables, right? And there's also the game film, which to me is the most important part. Like, how do you play in a freaking game? Like, yeah, do I care if you can do a bunch of 225 on bench press, that's cool. But this is about more than that. It's about how you play in the games, how you read the game, how you react, how you shut off a blocker in front of you. There's so many different intangibles that Marv does well, game-changing plays, opening it up for the rest of the defense. That to me is the separator. If you've watched him on film, you know what kind of player he is, right? And if you are basing it, look, I don't know what these teams' needs are, right? Every team's got certain needs. But you can't tell me there's not a first-round NFL team that could not use Marv in the first round. If he goes in the second round, yeah, he's going to be a steal. Absolutely, he's going to be a steal. But he's better than that. What else you got, Anna Rosa?
Bud and Brian refers to baseball, and he says that last night's game, I saw a very different team from last year. It was obvious that coaching was greatly improved. From the moment the bat cracked, all of our players were on the move, rotating to the best defensive postures to stop the opponent and to cover any errant throws. Offensively, our batters were seeing the pitches more clearly, and Lamar was not a very good team, but we were ready for whatever they brought to the game. Our team brought a high level of confidence. Oh, and great show. So appreciate that, Bud.
Appreciate that, Bud. Thank you very much. All right, speaking of Bud, let's go to my Bud there on the BCSI hotline, Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com. Chris, we were talking a little to Marvin Leal before you got here. It's interesting, man, because I look at some scouting reports from him from early on in the season, people talking about this guy's a first rounder. I've seen some people now saying he's a second rounder. How does a change happen in just a couple of weeks?
There is no change, David. When you hear these media reports and these amateur analysts talking about guys, they have no idea how to evaluate players. They're just gathering information. There's nothing changed with anybody. The players, it's a process to evaluate. And so basically what you're getting is a lot of just talk about where this guy is and this guy's the first rounder. Teams haven't set their board up. So how the hell is some media guy who doesn't know whether the football's blown or stuff knows who can play or not? So that is one of my pet peeves is just, well, this guy's dropping. Well, what's wrong with him? What's changed? Nothing's changed. He's the same guy he's always been, and the teams will evaluate him accordingly. And I've got a report up on him on LandryFootball.com, and it's the same report. There's no such thing as a first rounder or a second rounder. You grade them. Okay. And then whether a guy goes in the first round or the second round or the fifth round is all relative to the other players in the draft. So, a guy like Leal is a guy that's always been kind of in that range of, maybe 20 to 40 in terms of where he might stack up. Yeah, he's, and I'm not done, but I'm probably going to give him a 6.4 grade, which would put him anywhere in that category, which means he can go 20, he can go 40, because it's not about, one guy it's about everybody in the draft. So how does he grade out? Well, obviously the top 2 or 3 players in the draft are going to go really high regardless. But, you only got about 18 to 20 first-round graded players. Well, common sense says there are going to be 12 to 14 players with second-round grades that go in the first round. Now, is Leal one of them, or is he going to end up middle of the second? That's always been the case. But, when in the world of people get into these mock drafts, and I have no idea why, David, they're 99.9% wrong, but everybody has one. And I ain't seen any one of those guys in a draft room or a scouting trip in my life. So I don't know. That's my little get off my lawn take for these guys that have no clue. To just don't get wrapped up into that. Well, what he did, what's changed? Nothing's changed. The other thing to keep in mind is the football season has been over for a while. But you haven't watched the scouts who scout A&M who've got that area have made a scouting visit. But it's not to the end of the NFL season that the position coaches and the coordinators in the league will begin to evaluate those guys. And it takes well into March to get through all the tape of all the players. So there are going to be players whose grade are going to be adjusted, not because anything's happened since December to now, other than you got more exposure. And looked at all the tape yet. Myself, who, looks at tape all day, every day, it takes me a long time to get through all of that. I haven't looked through every tape of every one of these prospects. It's as I like to say, David, during the season, looking at tape is like running on a treadmill. You're running, but you're not going anywhere because there's always games, right? But once the games are over, then you can kind of make up ground on all the tapes. But yeah, it's one of those things. It irritates me because it gives the impression that, Leal's done something wrong or whatever. When the reality is, and you're going to hear this, well, he's moving up and down the board. No, he's not. It's just like these recruiting sites will use, this player's moving up or down. They're moving up or down because of the latest information that they get. A&M, Alabama's recruiting him. Well, he's now a 5-star. He's, if Tulsa's recruiting him, he's a 3-star. I mean, that's just how these are not evaluators. These are information gatherers. Well, in this draft process, these guys just throw out a lot of generic stuff. Well, we got to have a mock, draft and, August before the senior year. And it's never the same. It never is. Because what needs to be determined to set your draft board in real draft boards in the world that I live in, that's not done yet. Nobody in the league has a draft board. So there's nobody that could possibly move up or move down a draft board that hadn't been set yet.
That's excellent stuff. I love that, Chris. I love how you break it all down for us. So I guess on Sunday night there was talk about maybe a boycott of the combine. That seems to be affixed. But in one of the notes, it said that I think one of the agents said, even the combine's becoming an antiquated event. Has it become antiquated? How important is it to the future?
Darn agents. Well, let me just tell you, and then I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna be the get off my lawn guy the entire game. I know they're saying, "Wow, what's wrong with me?" No, I really am in a good mood. But these are one of my pet peeves. So people who don't know, I was part of starting the combine, and I ran the combine for a while, and not because I did it, it was better, whatever. But when we were running it, it was for one reason, okay? We were there to gather information. The main reason we do it, 90% of the combine, 90%, and that's conservative. It's probably more 95%. It's medical physicals. That's why we started it. That's why it's done, okay? And that's because, imagine this, before the combine, these guys had to go from city to city. Imagine all of these players going to 20, 28 at that time, cities, getting medicals. It was ridiculous. So we said we need to have a central location, bring all the medical people into one place and do that. So that's the reason. Once we got them there, we said, let's, of course we measure and weight them. Let's run them through a 40. Let's put them through some drills, and it grew. When I was running it, media wasn't allowed. agents weren't allowed. We got a lot more done. It's become a dog and pony show. It's become made for television, NFL Network, and they spend more time doing media interviews than they do interviewing with the teams. And so you get less out of it. But remember, it's all about the medicals. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's all about the medicals, and it is a huge television event. But I tell you what, man, it's amazing, though, how it's grown and how popular it is, Chris. Like, people they can't get enough of the NFL.
Yes. Yeah, no, it is, and it's great. The problem is you will hear a lot of things that just are not true. This guy's moving up, and this guy's this and that, and it's a lot of stuff that's sizzle and sell, and it's not real. And then people wonder why. Well, why is this happening? You know, like we just talked about, it's not reality. This is, you can help yourself, but I don't think you can really kill yourself. It's a piece of the puzzle, but it is important. It's because of the popularity of the league. And I do think them putting it on TV and all, it's made it more popular. Right. But quite frankly, it's made it more cumbersome for the purpose of evaluating players and trying to ascertain what you need to learn, which is why we have to have a lot of pro days and bring them in for individual interviews, because we can't do a lot of that stuff. You can't learn about a player in a 15-minute interview that's like a train station where everybody's moving from car to car.
Chris, we got about a minute left. Probably an unfair question to ask you this in a minute, but there's a lot of quarterback talk in the NFL. That's, is Aaron Rodgers going to leave Green Bay? Is Tom Brady going to come back and go to San Francisco? Is Deshaun Watson finally going to get traded? When you look at all these storylines, which one do you see as the most likely to happen?
Well, the Deshaun Watson situation is intriguing because I don't know, with the criminal investigation. I mean, I could go a million ways that I don't know. So that's most intriguing. Aaron Rodgers is a drama queen, and he's gonna, this is gonna play out like, I'm sure he's gonna stay in Green Bay, but I would not predict what he's gonna do. But I think Russell Wilson's going to stay in Seattle. I think there'll be a lot of the quarterback position, draft, free agency, who could be available in the trade. That's why that position it's so important, and it's certainly the one that drives the media, and the fan interest.
I appreciate you, Chris, as always, and make sure everybody checks out LandryFootball.com. He's got some great stuff on A&M, right?
Yeah, we do a bunch of stuff, obviously recruiting all the draft prospects, and we will talk to you guys in 2 weeks. I'll be at the Combine next week, so I'll be unavailable, but we'll certainly recap it for you if you wish in a couple of weeks.
You got it, my friend. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Take care.
There
Bye-bye.
he is, Chris Landry here on TexAgs Radio. Right now, let's talk Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. The deals are great. The people are great. The cars are great. I just keep saying great. Great. The coffee is great. You name it, that's what you get when you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet. When you're looking for a new vehicle, when you're looking to get rid of your vehicle, when you're looking to get into a pre-owned vehicle, where do you go? You go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet, because they're going to take care of you guys. Great customer service, great deals on the website and in person. And a lot of you have cars that you're like, I try to get another mile out of it. That's fine. Get that extra mile out of it. But then go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet, because that's the place you're going to really feel the difference with the customer service, the kind of people that you meet when you go in there, and just the entire process. 15-minute drive, Brian of Caldwell, short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and you do business with Zach and the fellas there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
The show sounds different, but it's still TexAgs. It's TexAgs Radio with David Nuño on the Zone.
Howdy, this is Brad Beard with Intercon. You would not buy a car, boat, or major appliance if the warranty only covered material, leaving you to pay labor, freight, and other charges. So don't make the same mistake when making a window or glass purchase. With many players in the window industry, limited warranties are truly limited. At Intercon, the warranties we provide cover 100% of the cost to get the product performing as it should. The labor and freight charges on other vendors' warranties can add up to hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Ask questions about other warranties offered. What costs are not covered? Are they transferable? What happens if a vendor goes out of business? Intercon does not represent any fly-by-night manufacturers who change their name and product line continually. We have long-standing relationships with our vendors and offer the best warranties in the business. Years down the road, Intercon will still be in the Brazos Valley, making sure the product we sold you lives up to expectations. Call Intercon and get the best product at the best price with the best service.
When it comes to windows for your most valuable asset, trust your local friends and neighbors from Intercon. Call Brad Beard with Intercon at 823-3639. That's 823-3639 for Intercon today.
Chili Fest 2022, presented by Miller Lite, is headed to Snook, Texas, April 1st and 2nd for 2 days of live music, including Saturday performances by Tanner Usray, Pecos and the Rooftops, Colby Cooper, Easton Corbin, and headliner Co Wetzel. With Joey Greer, Treaty Oak Revival, Cody West, Mike Ryan, Flatland Cavalry,
I miss College Station. Them balls are good to me.
And headliner, the Randy Rogers Band.
Trying to buy myself a chair.
Get tickets now at chilifest.org, plus camping, team information, and more. Chili Fest 2022, presented by Miller Lite. Miller Brewing Company. Great beer, great responsibility. 21 means 21.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
The world champ defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris, is with us. Morning, champ.
What we talked about with Tom Brady. I know you're famous for being wrong about that, Max, and I give you credit because you absolutely owned it every chance you get.
Why is Key so tickled by that, Raheem? You hear that? He's so tickled by that.
Yeah, I got to be honest, Max. So my wife's from Boston. Everybody was asking me the same questions personally, and I'm like, you guys are crazy, and so is Max.
Key, J, and Max.
Mornings 5 to 8 on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Powered by WC Tractor.
All right, one of my favorite times of the week. Gary Blair is in studio. The A&M women's basketball team takes on South Carolina, 7:30 at Reed Arena. Wow, it's going to be a good one. And Coach Blair, your final home game. What are your emotions right now?
It means I cannot get everything done in a 24-hour period. I go to bed at night thinking, I haven't done this, I haven't done that, and all of a sudden you fall asleep about midnight, and you get up in the morning, and you just, your mind is going so fast. You want to be able to thank all the people that have sent notes to you or letters to you or telephone calls are rolling in. But at the same time, people forget one thing. We are still playing, and we're playing number one in the country, South Carolina, and that's what your whole total focus should be on is South Carolina. The floor, the end of my last home game, yeah, that's important after the fact. But before the fact, it's South Carolina.
Well, this is a South Carolina team that you guys beat last year in the final game to win the SEC. This is the number one ranked team in the country, and you're still trying to move up those SEC standings. There's a lot on the line other than just taking on the number one team in the country.
I told, I think it's October 28th when we announced my pending retirement and everything. And I told him, I said, I will coach till the last whistle is blown, until the last play is drawn up, until the last kid has their chance to score in Reed Arena. And that's what we'll do. And to say winning would have taken care of a lot of things, no, it's This is a very hard thing to do, whether you're a bank president, you're going into retirement, or you're a plumber, you're going into your last year, or you're a teacher and you're going into your last year of teaching. It's hard to wrap up a career also when you're still doing your career. And that's my total focus right now. I want to say thanks to everyone, but I want to wrap up my career the way I started it. And that's going full force into everything that I'm doing. And right now, I'm behind on a lot of things. I've got great assistants that are helping me get through, but boy, we picked a doozy to play on my last home game. But guess what? This is what the country wanted last year. When they saw us play for the championships, number 1 and 2, play in South Carolina and Texas A&M, people said this was great. It was a great ball game last year that we sort of led from start to finish. But then at the same time, they wanted it again. They said, let's go to Rocky II. Okay, well, Rocky II is South Carolina and us. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you're the movie buff as well as I am. Who won in Rocky II?
Rocky.
Well, I'm Rocky.
There you go. Well, Gary, if we look at the Rocky analogy and look at the first game that you played against South Carolina this year, you guys played excellent in that first half. Mm-hmm. What did you learn from that first half that you can apply here at Reed Arena?
Well, we learned first to play in front of a huge crowd, like South Carolina's led the nation ever since 2015 in attendance, and give Dawn Staley credit for not just building a team but building a fan base and giving the rest of us a blueprint to build on. Butts in seats without giveaways, and that's what she's done. We have always played South Carolina well, sometimes not for the whole 40 minutes, and Coach Staley would say the same on her end. We've had some tremendous close games. This is very similar to when we were in the Big 12 playing Baylor. Okay, you respect the opponent. You expect her national championship that she won in 2017. You respect she was our Olympic coach. You respect the honor of the game about playing number 1. So when you're the home team and you're getting a chance to be in Reed Arena, you should be the favorite. You honor, even though they have more wins, they have more talent, they have an Olympic coach, but when you're in Reed Arena, the Aggies make the difference. Mm-hmm. The Aggies pick you up. The Aggies realize they're 6'4", they're 6'7". What are we going to do? We've got to rotate post players in there. We've got to have great guard play. We've got to shoot the ball. And I've got to make the right calls from the bench.
Well, Gary, I want to stay on that, too, because we saw it with the football team against Alabama, what a crowd can do for a game. We saw it really in the Kentucky game, how when A&M, the men's basketball team, almost beat Kentucky. They were leading most of that way. How important it is, especially, I know you don't want to talk about it being your last game, but to have your last game, have the crowd there, and help you beat the number 1 team.
I wore this shirt today for my kids could dream about cutting the nets. And we're not going to cut the nets after the ball game tonight, win or lose. You don't cut the nets in a regular season game. You cut the nets when it's championship time, and you cut the nets. And I've cut the nets in every school that I've been in to either win a state championship in high school or to get to Final Fours or to win Sweet 16s, Elite Eights, or national championships. I want my kids to feel the positivity that I'm going to have going into this game. And that's all we can do. And I know, David, I rambled on that first part of your question. I missed the second part.
Well, I think we're right on the right track. I do have to ask you, so you were here last week, all right? And I think a couple hours later you found out that the court was going to be named after you. I saw the video. It was so touching. Just tonight it's going to be unveiled. Just your emotions throughout all of it.
Well, for one thing, usually I'm a basket case. I cry in movies. I get emotional when I'm trying to talk and get out my thoughts and everything. And hopefully tomorrow night after the ball game, win or lose, I'll be able to put a few thoughts together. But when they came to my house last Monday afternoon, I thought they were coming to – I knew they weren't going to fire me because you don't fire somebody at somebody's house. But I thought they were coming to say, hey, we're going to do something for you going forward. But I had no idea it would be naming the court. That had never entered my mind. And then all of a sudden, when I see my daughter and my son-in-law at the front door, and they were not supposed to be there. It was supposed to just be R.C. Slocum and Bill Byrne, who hired me, my athletic director, Ross Bjork, and Kristen Brown, our deputy associate athletic director, my wife, and I, and our great Aggie donor, and Wayne Roberts. And that's what it was supposed to be. And then all of a sudden here comes cameraman, and here comes this, and here comes that. It was a complete shock to us. There was about 16 of us there. And we went with it. I'm very humbled. I'm very honored. And hopefully I'll be able to say the right thing tomorrow night after the game. But, David, this is not about – I'm always talking about how hard it is to coach the me generation, and it is in every sport right now. The me generation is hard. But this year, I do not want it to be about me. I want it to be about we, and that court is about we. I share that court with Buzz and Bird, and we're probably the killer bees, if you will. And gosh, we fight hard to win every home game. And the coaches before all of us, that's a we court. And the people that sit around us, they're the we people. They're the Aggies that stand up on their own and yell for us. They don't boo. They yell for us. They might disagree with an official's call every now and then, but at the same time, it's the we court. And that's the emphasis I want to put to my team tomorrow before we play the game and afterwards in my words to the fans. Thank you. We've done.
October 28th, I think, or in that realm where you announced your upcoming retirement in that span somewhere. Has it gone by super fast for you? Has it gone slow? Like what does it felt like? Because I feel like it was just yesterday that you announced, and here we are getting to your last game.
Fast in certain ways, slow in other ways. When you're not winning as much as you're usually winning, the phone calls are different. The letters in the mail are different. Sometimes the second guessing of some of my calls that I've made during the ball game or how certain players are not playing to the level they played last year, all that comes in focus. I'm still trying to fix it. And I run out of time. I run out of time during the day. I get up around 6:45. I go out and I read my Eagle newspaper. I turn on Good Morning America. I get in the shower. I come to work and I figure out how can I catch up just with today? How can I win today? And I think that's what we all need to focus on in life. Sometimes we remember too much and do not focus on the present. And the present is practice at 2:30 today. Practice. Because we cannot win the game on Thursday night unless we have the best practice that we've had in a month or so. That's what I want to do. I've got to manage my time. I've got to help other people, and I've got to motivate. So instead of just putting the plus on my hand like I normally do before each game, maybe I need to put it on my forehead. And we need to be able to go out there and realize we get the opportunity to play number one in the country. Just like when our men played Kentucky, just like when our baseball team's going to roll in here, maybe Ole Miss might be number one in the country at the time. The equestrian team has got to play Georgia or Auburn. You get a chance for number one. You live for those moments. There's nothing better. I know your show was the most popular thing going around, but on 4 o'clock today, I'm going to be on Paul Feinbaum's show.
That's a pretty big deal.
I mean, he's my idol.
Yes, he is.
Okay. Now, I enjoy the banter with him because he has one of the hardest shows in America, listening to the Jims of the world or Redneck Sally calling in or something like that, and he handles it so well. So this is going to be another highlight for me, being on Feinbaum today at 4 o'clock.
Well,
after practice.
After practice. I'd be remiss if we didn't. You brought this in. The Eagle has you there on its cover. I know you said you started to read it. What another great honor, Gary. And I'm just look. These chats that we have every week to me are just they're the highlight of my week. I've enjoyed it, and we're going to keep it going too. So last thing, you have a chance still to move up a little bit in the standings. I know that your focus is totally on South Carolina, but also how this team finishes it off.
We're trying to avoid playing on Wednesday. To do that, we've got to win 2 ball games and hope that a couple other teams lose. But you give us a fighting chance. I really am not thrilled about playing an 11 o'clock game on a Wednesday in Nashville, the city of great music and everything, where 10 of the teams probably will not have left their campus while we're playing. 4 teams will play on Wednesday, 8 teams on Thursday, 8 teams on Friday, and then it keeps going down. I'm used to playing at least in the semifinals in the SEC. So that's our only mission right now. But before that mission, I'm going to have a fired-up South Carolina team that they get a chance to win the outright championship if they beat us tomorrow, and then playing a Georgia team that's fighting for seed on their senior day in Athens. So right now, that's on my mind. I appreciate all the love and support, but right now, the best way you could say thank you to me is get in those stands and fight for those girls tomorrow night.
All right, let's do this, though. So let's give away a couple tickets. Answer this question. So we talked about Rocky 1 and 2. Rocky 3, because Gary Blair's in the studio. Who did Rocky Balboa beat in Rocky 3? I need not the name of the movie star. I want the name of the guy he beat. Wow. 979-693-1150 on the A&B text line. Coach Blair, we appreciate you as always, my friend.
Well, let's keep it going, and congratulations to Buzz last night for a tremendous win. That's the best he's looked at quite a while, and Jackson was unbelievable.
He was unbelievable. All right, right now I want caller number 1. Actually, we'll do this. We'll do the first couple callers on the A&B text line, the BCSI hotline, for the Rocky tickets for the South Carolina game versus Texas A&M, Gary Blair's final home game. Thank you, Coach.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. There's never been a better time for a cash-out refinance. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. The Salvation Army in Bryan College Station has received a generous donation to set up an educational scholarship. Find out more about the Bauer Family Estate Scholarship and apply online at SalvationArmyBCS.com. Grief Share, a special help seminar and support group for people experiencing grief and loss, is held on Sundays at Peace Lutheran Church at 4 o'clock. Call the church for more information. Relay for Life of Brazos County is Saturday, May 7th. Join a team, make a donation, or become a sponsor. Find more information and a link to register at WTAW.com. Every Thursday morning from 8 to 10, all veterans and family members of veterans are welcome for coffee and donuts at American Legion Post 159 on Highway 21. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
It's time to do your civic duty and make sure the best candidates get elected for office. Hi, I'm Gabriel Garcia, and I'm asking you to re-elect me as your Brazos County District Clerk. I have a passion for public service, and I've made a number of positive changes in the District Clerk's office, including added deputy clerks in court, stressing the importance of preserving and archiving records, and adding a Clerk 1 position without raising the salary budget. Re-elect me, Gabriel Garcia.
Paid for by Gabriel Garcia Campaign, Head Septic Treasurer.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
So yeah, I used the savings from switching to Progressive 50 years ago to finally buy my dream car. It's a self-driving flying car, but we just say self-flying now. You know, because it's the future, and cars fly in the future.
So switch to Progressive and save big, because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customer surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Does your bank know your first name? At Normandy State Bank, they do. Normandy State Bank is locally owned, controlled, and operated. This local personal touch means banking decisions are made on site the same day you request it. Normandy State makes banking easy. They're open Saturdays.